Welcome, fellow historians, to a journey beyond the known chronicles of the Imperium. We often speak of Paul Atreides, the rise of the God Emperor, and the scattering. The forgotten lore, decipher the cryptic symbols, and piece together the epic sagas that shaped humanity's destiny among the stars. Subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss our first expedition into the deep past. The spice isn't the only treasure Arrakis holds.
There is a difference between a prophet and a tyrant. One sees the future. The other becomes it. Paul Atreides stood at the edge of both. And in one moment, one choice, he crossed a line he swore he never would. This is the story of the day Paul lost his humanity. The desert does not forgive. It does not negotiate. It takes what it wants, water, blood, hope, and leaves only silence behind. Arrakis is a world built on that silence. A planet where survival is religion. Where power is measured in grains of spice and drops of moisture. Where prophecy is not a gift, it is a weapon. And Paul Atreides? He was supposed to be the one who wielded it. The Kwisatz Haderach. The Lisan al-Gaib. The chosen one who would lead the freemen to freedom and reshape the galaxy in his image. But prophecy is a strange thing. It shows you the path. It does not tell you what you will become while walking it. In Dune, Part 2, we watch Paul transform. Not into a hero. Not into a savior. But into something far more terrifying, a man who sees every future, every consequence, every death, and chooses power anyway. This is not a story about destiny. It is a story about the moment a human being stops being human. And the galaxy burns because of it. Paul was born into tragedy. House Atreides. Ancient. Noble. Doomed. His father, Duke Leto, was a man of honor in a galaxy that punished honor. His mother, Lady Jessica, was a Bene Gesserit who disobeyed her order to birth a daughter and gave the universe a son instead. A son who was never supposed to exist. Jessica loved Leto. And love makes fools of even the most disciplined minds. The Bene Gesserit had been breeding bloodlines for 10,000 years, engineering the perfect human, the Kwisatz Haderach, a being who could see past, present, and future all at once. But Jessica gave them Paul instead. A boy who could be the one. Or the end of everything. Arrakis was a trap. Emperor Shaddam IV feared House Atreides. Their popularity. Their growing influence. So he gave them the desert planet, the most valuable rock in the known universe, and then sent the Sardaukar and the Harkonnen to destroy them. In one night, everything Paul knew was annihilated. His father was murdered. His home was burned. His future, erased. Paul ran into the desert with his mother. Two survivors in a wasteland that kills the unprepared in hours. But the desert does not kill everyone. Sometimes it transforms them. The freemen do not bow. They do not beg. They do not wait for saviors. But the Bene Gesserit had planted a prophecy among them centuries ago. The Lisan al-Gaib. The voice from the outer world. A Messiah who would lead them to paradise. When Paul arrived, blue-eyed from spice, trained in combat, born of a witch, the freemen saw their prophecy made flesh. But Paul knew the truth. The Lisan al-Gaib was not destiny. It was propaganda. A lie designed to control. And at first, Paul refused it. He joined the freemen as one of them. He took the name Muad. He fell in love with Cheney, a woman who saw him not as a messiah but as a man. For a brief moment, Paul was happy. He was free. But freedom is a luxury prophets cannot afford. Paul's prescience was not a gift. It was a curse. Every time he drank the water of life, every time he opened his mind to the future, he saw the same thing: holy war. Billions dead. Planets burning. His name is carved into history not as a liberator but as a conqueror. The freemen are spreading across the galaxy like a plague, slaughtering in his name. And he saw something worse. He saw that he could not stop it. Every path he took, every choice, every hesitation, every act of mercy, led to the same apocalypse. The only difference was the body count. This is the trap of prescience. When you see every future, you realize that free will is an illusion. You are not choosing your destiny. You are simply discovering it. And Paul was drowning in that knowledge. Cheney begged him not to go south. Not to drink the water of life. Not to become the Lisan al-Gaib. You'll lose yourself, she said. And she was right. There is a moment in Dune, Part 2 that changes everything. Paul stands before the freemen. The northern tribes have accepted him as Muad, a fighter, a brother. But the southern tribes, the fundamentalists, the true believers, they want the Lisan al-Gaib. They want the Messiah. And Paul sees the choice before him: stay human. Stay free. And watch everyone he loves die. Or become the prophet. Unleash the jihad. And save the freemen by condemning the galaxy. He drinks the water of life. Not because he believes in the prophecy, but because he sees no other way to survive. And when he wakes, when his eyes open and the blue within blue stares out at the crowd, he is no longer Paul Atreides. He is the Lisan al-Gaib. He is the Kwisatz Haderach. He is the beginning of the end. Cheney saw it immediately. The man she loved was gone. Paul, her Paul, would never have used the freemen like this. He would never have manipulated their faith. He would never have married the emperor's daughter for political power while claiming to love her. But the Lisan al-Gaib? He would. Because the Lisan al-Gaib is not a man. He is a symbol. And symbols do not love. They do not grieve. They do not hesitate. They simply act. Paul tells Cheney he had no choice. That this was the only way. That he is doing this for her, for the freemen, for the future. But she knows the truth. He chose power. And in doing so, he lost the one thing that made him human, the ability to choose her over destiny. The look on her face as she walks away is the most devastating moment in the film. It is the moment Paul realizes what he has become. And he does it anyway. Frank Herbert did not write Dune to celebrate heroes. He wrote it to warn us about them. Paul is not a villain in the traditional sense. He does not want to become a tyrant. He does not crave power for its own sake. But that is what makes him so dangerous. Because Paul believes he is doing the right thing. He believes that unleashing the jihad is a necessary evil. That the ends justify the means. And history is filled with men who believed the same. This is the great tragedy of Dune. Paul is not corrupted by greed or ambition. He is corrupted by certainty. By the belief that because he can see the future, he has the right to shape it. And in doing so, he becomes the very monster he swore to destroy. We love chosen one narratives. The farm boy who becomes a king. The orphan who saves the world. The underdog who rises to greatness. But Dune asks a different question: what if the chosen one is a lie? Paul was engineered. His bloodline was manipulated. His destiny was manufactured by the Bene Gesserit for their own purposes. He is not special because of fate. He is special because powerful people made him special. And when he accepts the role of Messiah, he is not fulfilling destiny, he is perpetuating a system of control. The freemen do not follow Paul because he is right. They follow him because they were conditioned to follow him. And Paul, who knows this, who sees this, uses it anyway. That is the moment he loses his humanity. Not when he kills. Not when he fights. But when he stops seeing people as people and starts seeing them as tools. Arrakis is not just a setting. It is a reflection of Paul's soul. At the beginning, the desert is brutal but honest. It kills without prejudice. It offers no false hope. And Paul respects that. But as he becomes the Lisan al-Gaib, the desert changes. It becomes a stage. A myth. A weapon. The freemen no longer see Arrakis as it is, they see it through the lens of prophecy. And Paul no longer sees himself as he is. He sees himself as the galaxy will remember him. And in that gap, between the man and the myth, his humanity dies. There is a line in Dune that haunts me, he who can destroy a thing, controls a thing. Paul could have destroyed the prophecy. He could have rejected the title of Lisan al-Gaib. He could have told the freemen the truth, that he was not their savior, just a survivor. But he did not. Because in the end, Paul Atreides made the same choice every tyrant makes, he chose power over principle. Control over freedom. Destiny over love. And the galaxy burned. Not because he was evil. But because he was certain he was right. Paul Atreides did not fail because he was weak. He failed because he saw too much. And when a man believes he knows the future, he stops fearing what he becomes. The universe did not fall to Paul Atreides. It knelt. And in that silence, humanity ended.